guys, it's Lara and Ashton from A Wee Bit Worn, and we are here to share our thoughts, our feedback, our impressions, our pictures, and we have lots of footage from Poshfest. I know that everybody who didn't get to go is interested in seeing what it's like, but also people who did go, everybody's enjoying seeing what everybody else got out of it and memories and things like that. So we want to go into this with definitely saying that our feedback is to help Posh grow this, because we absolutely had a wonderful time and we want this event to be really successful. And just because we kind of do this for a living, we've done a lot of conferences and know the behind the scenes. It's a lot of work. So these guys put a ton of work into this, and especially from what we heard from 2018, I think that they made tons of improvements from 2018 to 19 based on what we heard.
Yeah. And I think beyond even just putting this out there in space so that you can see if you want to go to Poshfest, I think we're all secretly hoping that somebody from Posh is watching. Like,
to get some feedback. Yeah. So, and there are lots of other videos out there from our PFFs about the experience, and everybody has something a little bit different, but everybody also has the same kind of theme. So we'll link a lot of our PFFs videos down in the bottom, but we just wanted to talk to it from the perspective of people who do conferences and what we think could be better. But we had an absolute wonderful time. Like everybody else said, it's the people. I mean, it's definitely the people.
Yeah.
You know, meeting all of our friends from Table 99, but just definitely meeting Tori and Bill and making that connection. I mean, we really feel like they're like family now. And so that was awesome.
Yeah. Well, even outside of like our core PFFs, it was fun just to sit in the lobby at the hotel and see everyone arrive. And like Leslie from A Reseller's Passion came by and goes, "Oh, you're the mom and daughter on Instagram." So it's fun because even if you hadn't built a relationship or community,
they started,
and now we'll be able to cultivate them and then grow them for next year.
Yeah, and we got to bond with Steven and Brittany and Jessica, and we'll link all of them below in their closets and their, you know, YouTubes if they have one. But it just
good to meet Denali in person.
Oh gosh, yeah, she was just such an inspiration to me. And Jade was absolutely delightful. I just was kind of blown away at how easy she was to talk to. You know, she's so big on Instagram, and she was very, very humble and sweet and responsive and kind. And so it's definitely, if you haven't been, I do say go. The cost, $250 a ticket, you guys, is so cheap for a 2-day. You know, they even had some events the night before, but I think you had to pay extra. For a 2-day event, I mean, when I'm doing a conference or even an all-day meeting at a hotel, a meal for someone is usually in the $20 to $25 range, plus tax, gratuity, all of that. Yeah. And that's like lunch. That's like just a sandwich board. Yeah.
I would go higher, because I mean, ones that we've done have been $1,600 a ticket.
My dog's hacking up a lung.
$1,600 a ticket for 3 days of content, and my BEOs with attending of about $200 to $300, like just a beverage entertainment order, I think is what it stands for.
BEO, yeah.
BEO for the end of the day would be like $38,000.
Banquet event order.
Yeah. Thank you. It would be $38,000 is the last one I did for a day, and I almost flipped out of the chair when I did the P&L. They're typically a loss leader, honestly. You don't profit a ton off of
And what a loss leader is you're hosting the event, you're paying for the event, you're not profiting off the event, but it's growing your business in other ways. That's what coupons are for grocery stores or, you know, sales, things like that. So, you know, the fact that I used to do every single year, I did this huge Christmas party or holiday party for our employees, huge, at a hotel. And it was always, Alexa, stop. Sorry, we've got, do you want to check on that? We've got cauliflower pizza in the oven. We're trying to do this on lunchtime from work and eat and everything else. So I think I spent about $100 a person just on that event in a ballroom for food.
Stop.
So And the meals were like, if you listen to Jack and Ryan, they talk about the food the whole time, and the macaroni and cheese was quite delicious. So, there was quite a bit of good food. The only thing I would recommend on food is that maybe there's an afternoon snack. On the first day, we had lunch really early. And I know snacks are also expensive. They can range anywhere between $15 and $25 a person coming from the venue. But even if it's like a bag of pretzels or something.
What we did was we found local community folks to sponsor the snacks and bring in their own snacks. So we'd find like craft artisan nuts from a local bakery or something, and they sponsor it and give a coupon in the swag bag, so
That's a
there's
great idea.
shop there. So we would just not utilize the venue for that snack portion.
That's a good idea. But we were definitely starving that day, and then people go immediately from that and go have drinks. So you want them to kind of fill up. So that's our preface. I know that's very long, but the price for the ticket is so valuable. The party alone on the last night would be a minimum $100 a person.
Yeah.
Almost unlimited drinks. We got 4 drink tickets, but there was even more, and food and dancing and stuff in every room in the venue, and
a band, and such a
you'll
cool
see
venue.
in our footage coming up. I've got a lot of video that there's so much really cool stuff.
But just really, guys, consider they had to pay for a giant convention center. They had so much staff that they had to fly from San Fran, signage, setup, desks, swag. Some of it's sponsored, some of it maybe not. Printing. All the promotion ahead of time to pay people to dedicate to putting on the conference. So, I mean, kind of cut them some slack on that.
Yeah. I would definitely pay $500 a ticket for that. I would like to see some more as far as content goes, but if the content's there, it's definitely worth it.
Super valuable. And I would say, just a caveat, it's for resellers specifically. If somebody landed that's more of a buyer and just a lover of Posh, they would go to this and probably not get enough out of it or even understand what the reseller community means. So I don't know how much the pre-content states that. That it's not like a fashion conference, it's not an evangelistic conference.
Well, let's segue into that.
The app.
So let's segue into the pre-conference materials and communication and all of that. So I've heard a lot of people say that before they buy tickets next year, they want to see an agenda because
I agree.
There was some disappointment, I think, in the resellers who have some experience. And we've been doing it a year, but I think we're pretty advanced as far as in comparison to what the content was.
Well, we watch a lot of YouTube videos, but I don't think there was anything that we learned that we couldn't have found on YouTube for free.
Right, and already knew. So having an agenda ahead of time is great. They're asking you to pay for a ticket ahead of time, and you don't know what the event is going to have as far as content goes. Also, after you bought the ticket, it was a very long time before you heard anything about what was happening. So you bought a ticket, you paid for your hotel, you paid for your flight, and then it was literally 2.5, 3 weeks before the event before you even saw an agenda.
And I wouldn't even say that from the audience's perspective. She spoke and it was kind of down to the last minute. And so I definitely suggest planning the agenda much sooner so that even speakers have time to prepare stronger content. The lead time was pretty poor.
Yeah, when I first heard from the person who contacted me about it, it was, you're going to do a workshop. Well, if I'm doing a workshop, to me, I've got a lot of prep to do because I'm going to do materials and have activities, and I'm going to talk about that in a second. So I'm immediately starting to scramble. How am I going to balance getting this all done along with my job and other things that I have going on? So that's a whole different topic because not everybody was a speaker, but that could have been a little bit better as well. But one of the things that we noticed was we missed a lot of information in regards to a pre-party, in regards to other parties that other poshers were doing that you could buy tickets to, any kind of information ahead of time that could have been helpful. We would love to see kind of a landing page, a little website.
Microsite.
Yeah.
A lot of conferences will have a microsite that doesn't even live on the main domain because there's so much information. And even if other Poshers are doing Posh and Sips and after parties and stuff that's on Eventbrite.
You can
Posh
link to
can
it.
curate it and link to it, or even just say, hey guys, check out, our community.
Some of these
awesome,
things
and
people are
grows
doing.
some other
Right.
events.
Yeah, that's definitely something that would have been helpful, because I would have bought a ticket to one of the pre-events for sure.
We had FOMO with tacos and cocktails.
Yeah, it was sad. But there was also like spouses could buy an additional ticket to the party in the very last day, and a lot of people, we heard them saying that they didn't know about that, and
or they bought the ticket not knowing it was included with your
not
Posh
knowing the
ticket.
party was included with your
like
Posh ticket,
Kenny
so they
bought double
she
and
did.
then handed it out to somebody else.
Gave it away to somebody.
Yeah.
Just, a landing page would have, where the hotel is, ways to get there, like Uber, and, some ideas for people who don't travel a lot. We do for work, so it's not nerve-wracking for us, but some it is.
What is included in your ticket, what
Exactly.
food you can expect, allergies,
Dress code,
yeah.
Things like that. So the those are things that we thought would be good from the beginning. And then as they have an agenda, they can post that, and people just continue to go back to the same place for information.
But information
My
wise,
nose itches, I'm sorry, y'all.
the signage was awesome. I think the signage was incredible. I always knew where to
Once
be.
you got there,
Yeah,
the venue was
the
great.
agenda was good. The
You'll
app
see
was
in the
good.
footage, we're going up and down the escalator, and some footage I have here in just a second, where everything was really easy to get to. There were 3 different floors, but it was so well set up, and just some cool things to do in gaps of time. So we liked that. But you want to talk content now?
Yeah, before I forget, the one piece of feedback I had was on day 2, the lunch was an hour, and then there was an hour networking break, so it
An
literally
hour and a
felt
half.
like we had
It was like 2.5
it was
hours.
like 2.5 hours of break, which it was great if you needed to go to the markets or go to the shop or anything like that, but it was too much, so I mean, the audience dwindled by probably 50%.
Oh yeah, there wasn't a
for the
lot of people who
afternoon.
came back for the afternoon speakers. You know,
Yeah.
a lot of people went and took naps or went and had drinks.
Yeah, this doesn't take too long.
Yeah, and by then everybody had already done all of that extra stuff.
Yeah, you
so,
didn't have to force networking at home.
oh my gosh, it was. But a networking opportunity is good, but maybe
Yeah.
like on the first day instead of the second day.
Yeah.
Anyway, keep in
moving
mind,
on.
we're picking things apart. Like, just,
Yeah.
it was great.
Yeah, it was
I don't want
awesome
people to get the wrong idea.
No.
And we are marketers, communicators, HR, and
Learned the hard way after getting our
we learned
own
the hard
surveys
way
back.
of getting surveys back on stuff. So, content-wise,
Tori said this, but it needs a variety of depth, levels.
Yeah,
so there's
we all talked
tracks,
about that at our
101,
table.
201, 301, and kind of depending on your expertise or your time frame, to sign up for different tracks.
Beginners, middle of the road, very experienced poshers. So have content for each of those and have different breakout sessions for each of those, because the breakout sessions were definitely extremely basic, and they were all panels.
Even
Almost
on the
every one.
almost every single session was a panel at PoshFest, even on the main stage. I mean,
So it was a moderator sitting in a chair and 3 to 4 poshers, and they asked them questions, and there wasn't enough time to get into the nitty-gritty about things. So there were no keynote speakers.
well, Minish.
Well, Manish,
Yeah.
but I mean like a keynote speaker who's a subject matter
No,
expert
the
on
one-
something.
The one curriculum.
Yeah, hey, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to show you, I'm going to teach you how to brand your closet. So if I was going to do a workshop, and I love workshops, so people actually have a sheet or a booklet, and so I've got some notes on here, like, if I was doing this at work and teaching somebody how to brand a store, I would say, what's your desired perception you want people to have when they come to your closet? So write down some characteristics there, and let's talk through those. How do you exude that through a closet? And, what experience do you want people to have when they come? What do you want them to feel when they are interacting with you? And how do you want to create a connection with customers? So you kind of interact and go through all of these things, and you have slides that people literally take things away, like things to go exercise and do and think through and develop. And there's so many opportunities with what we do where you can have workshops, you can have keynote speakers. What else?
Fireside, so one-to-one. There was no one-to-one if you want to do kind of the back and forth with two folks. A think tank where you actually crowdsource ideas with each other to solve each other's problems.
Oh, like definitely, like each table.
Table work.
My nose is
was my
just
next
so
one.
bad. I'm so sorry. Each table, they could have like flipped upside down a topic, and they say, okay, now turn over your topic and have a discussion and a quick report out at the end or something. Like instead of 25-minute breakout, they could have like a 55-minute and make it really more in depth.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they could charge more if the content elevates.
Totally.
And there could be more days.
You know, and maybe
went
the
quickly.
ticket, I'm so sorry, y'all, my allergies are killing me, is priced based on your level. Like beginner's $250, middle is $350, and da-da-da-da. But you'd have to figure out how to make sure people are going to the right track. But
I've done one. So you got a QR code on your badge, and so you have like an all access pass or like a VIP pass, and so you can't enter the room without scanning it, and you had to sign up ahead of time. And that was also a way where you got more food, more drinks, more coffee. Like at food trucks, they would scan your badge, and if you didn't have the right all access pass, then you couldn't get the food. So there's different things definitely to rob and deploy from other.
didn't you go to a conference where it was all food trucks for the meals?
That was Inbound in Boston, so it had a VIP pass, I think, and so
Is Inbound HubSpot?
HubSpot, yeah. So HubSpot's big conference, 26,000 people were there. So that's hard to manage, but you go outside, they scan your badge, and only the ones with those badges could go in, and it was this just cool ground of all these food trucks, and every food truck could only serve one of their favorite dishes.
Maybe you'll get to where it's that big.
No, it was awesome.
I mean, they talked about they have like 7 million or million
50
on the
million users in the US, 7 million are resellers.
Yeah.
And they
So,
just broke into Canada.
26,000 people in attendance is definitely doable. I just think that you know, they'll grow every year.
Yeah, I mean, 14...
I remember my first conference, it was a hot mess.
Well, that was before like gluten and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Too. Gosh, I can't
Oh my
imagine
gosh,
now.
and think about that. Like people have so many different things that they can and can't eat, and they're going to say that on their registration. And then you've got to find a meal that works for everyone. It's difficult. So
there was a special foods area. I saw it.
yeah,
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yep.
But some other things about the workshops are, like, we went to one that was called Beyond Business Basics, and there was a panel up there of 3 different folks, and they all had such good nuggets, but they could only get to the core nugget. They couldn't unpack anything. So one girl
unpack meaning get very detailed. That's
Voyage
what
is
she
a
calls
verb.
Unpacking.
Voyage is a verb was talking about sole proprietorship versus LLC when setting up your business.
Oh my gosh, people would love to know how to do that.
And we wanted
how
to
to
get
set that up.
much further into
That'd be a great advanced course.
why one or the other, and she only got to speak to it for a little bit. Another girl, I don't remember her name or closet name, but she was talking about how she does her profit and loss statement and how she calculates a sell-through rate based on her post average prices to forecast her year so she could find slumps so that she could supplement her income. And she was like, and I have a formula, and we didn't get to see it so that we could steal it or like workshop it or figure out how to do it. And so just going through what a profit loss statement template looks like in a Posh Closet, talking about gross profit, net profit, sell-through rates. I mean, financial literacy course applied to doing this full time would be incredible.
The data course, I can't remember what it's called, but they basically...
My sales report.
Yeah, all they did was show you how to download the sales report and some basic Excel, like how to sort and some to do a quick little pivot table. So that's a good beginner course, but these kinds of things would be better for advanced. Taxes, like how to do your inventory at the end of the year and what to do to prepare for taxes, how to do, you had an idea about QuickBooks, like the different ways that people are tracking things throughout the year, what you need to track, what you can track.
Erin's good about like tracking her mileage on the way to the bins, but then Caitlin, who's on El Ducho's podcast, she's a CPA that retired to go full time. I mean, if you can afford to do that, that's badass. But she had a lot of information on taxes. So there's a lot of folks out there that are doing this that could really be strong speakers.
And provide information that people take away to actually utilize, think through, and implement into their business. So really what we got out of all of these panels was you got to know the person a little bit better, followed them on Instagram, followed their closet or whatever.
DM'd them for more details.
But literally these guys were going to get hit up for all these extra details because they didn't get to get into any of it. So
you went to more, but I only went to one session that offered Q&A. And so, I mean, at a bare minimum to just bake in more time for Q&A, because then we can at least get our thoughts and questions answered, even if you can't find the time or the resources to curate all this content, right? It's just more
the
Q&A.
only one that did Q&A was the hackathon. Which is where they shared all of the new things coming up.
Lots of feedback that everyone loved the executive panel idea. The only feedback was that it stayed really kind of fluffy, like how do you lead your team, what's your spirit animal, what's your favorite thing you bought on Posh, and it's great to get to know folks, but we were really kind of expecting what's to come.
To hear what they're driving in the business, their strategy.
What's your roadmap for your team? What core pieces are you working on in 2020? Maybe they haven't fleshed that out yet, but...
Or just, kind of explaining what behind the scenes a little bit. You hear a lot of feedback of people griping about stuff, and at work I hear the same thing. I hear people griping about things, and then I'll turn around and explain the why. This is why we have to do this, and they're like, oh, okay. So there was something I thought about the other day, that if people just understood the why, then maybe they would it was somebody was talking about from the hackathon, they wanted the inventory number, the new inventory number, the SKU number to be printed on the shipping label. But my group, they explained it that that's not allowed. Like the USPS limits what we can put on the shipping label. And if you go back and listen to the history of shipping and the USPS with Poshmark and Manesh, that it's very interesting the things he had to overcome with the USPS. So if you just explain why.
Well, the VP of Apps did a really great job with that. He explained the limitations on what they can print, but then the audience member goes, but eBay does it, and then everybody was like, okay. So I know that Q&A can be tough, but
eBay might have a completely different deal, and eBay started way back when, so they might have grandfathered this in, and it's not allowed now. So you just never know. But I would have loved to have heard them talk about things that are behind the scenes that they're working on, but I got nothing out of their spirit animal, what they bought for their wives on Poshmark.
It was sweet and cool, but
I think I was the most disappointed with that one.
Yeah.
And the sales report one.
I mean, they don't have to overpromise or overshare, but even just kind of what's on the high level roadmap of what they're working on.
But I will tell you that the whole team, everybody there, they wandered around the whole time, listened to people. Manesh was with somebody different every single time I saw him.
We got really great feedback from Bill324 Finds about the men's happy hour with Manish and Tracy from Community. So it's really awesome that they're trying to cultivate new groups and get direct
to hear the challenges that men are going through as they grow their closets.
Into the business.
Good luck. My husband's leaving for something. So, I mean, we're talking about feedback that we have, but there's also so many wonderful things that were going on at the same time. It was a huge, great room. So, what else do you have?
My last one is, this is going to feel strange to say because I know that speaking is so hard for people, but there were some subject matter experts that were chose to speak on their content because they know it, but they were either so nervous or just hard to understand, or maybe too analytical and the message didn't come across, or so new to public speaking that they were literally shaking and reading cue cards, and you were focused so much on helping them with their anxiety that you weren't listening to the content. So my feedback would be just to make sure that if the Posh members were asked to speak, to give them more professional development around public speaking, or not, maybe not have the subject matter experts speak if they're uncomfortable doing so. Maybe just have them educate whoever will take over.
Partner them. You can have an analytical subject matter expert, but then also somebody who's really good at speaking and a little bit more outgoing. That's what we used to do with, you know, my CEO that I worked for 20 years. He was super introverted, so he'd take me or the COO who was extroverted to certain things, and we would just ping off of each other on stage. So, you know, he would say something and then we would realize it didn't come out the right way, or it wasn't as self-explanatory to people. So we'd go, oh, well, what he means by that is da 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 da, and we'd explain it in layman's terms.
Or you and I are so ADD that he would come in and go, let me decode the 9 things she just hopped over.
Yeah, it worked both ways, but it was a really good way to ping things off of each other. So you had a lot of them that were just really great and used to speaking, because, you know, they're in the same type of fields we are, marketing or communications things. So that could be a good idea as well.
Yeah, Tracy was a strong panelist for that reason.
Yeah.
All in all, we were really impressed because we did hear a lot of feedback from the 2018 session, but it sounds like a majority of the concerns were changed, and so every year it just gets better and better. And
we
live
live in Dallas-Fort Worth, which is where the 2018 session was, and we had just started on Poshmark, so we didn't even know anything about it, so we missed it. But it was at Gilly's, which is a nightclub, really. It's, if you've seen Urban Cowboy, that's Gilly's in Houston, but it's the same thing.
Did we verify it was Gilly's?
It was Gilly's. Yeah, I looked it up.
Okay.
Yeah. And, you know, Gilly's is trying to have, like, you know, conference rooms and meeting spaces and stuff, but it's just, I don't think unless you're used to a honky tonk that, you know, if you come from somewhere up north and you go to the honky tonk Gilly's for a conference, it's probably a little bit weird. So the place was phenomenal. And I thought that the hotel right across the street was great.
Perfect.
We walked literally 100 feet to the venue from across the street from the hotel.
But to go from a honky tonk to a large convention center,
it's expensive.
I mean, that's impressive that they made that quick of a change.
It's very expensive. Yeah, they listened to the feedback. And, you know, some people were talking about the hotel cost, and, you know, I travel a lot for a living, so it was like $189 a night, and we shared a room, so it's really not all that bad. I would rather have been, and this is a preference thing, but I would rather have been right across the street from the place instead of having to Uber back and forth to an Airbnb. And there was also people that right when a session, the end of the day was over, they had to Uber back to their Airbnb, get ready, and rush to meet us back. And I just loved being right there. And we
probably spend the same amount of money doing that.
If you're Ubering and tipping and all that stuff. And we had time to go back into the lobby where everybody was congregating and having drinks, and I loved that aspect of it. So it's all a preference, what you want to do. Because I've seen a lot of, you know, the boys, I call them Jack and Ryan. Jack and Ryan. Do you notice their names are Jack Ryan, the character Jack Ryan? Anyway, they had stayed at a B&B, and then, oh, what's this other sweet kid that we were watching his story with his friend, the girl?
Oh, I know exactly
He's
what you're talking about.
18 in thrift, or I don't know, I'll have to look it up. He had a B&B, Airbnb. Nick. So anyway, it's just a preference thing. There's so many options. I did love the Posh stuff. Like I got a Posh case, and I got a Posh pop socket. They had a wine thingy. We both got one of those. Sweatshirts and t-shirts, and my sweatshirt's in the laundry room.
They had
stickers are the best stickers.
The tote bag was so genius because they made it the big giant one like IKEA, so you could take it to the bin.
Yeah, one of those bins tote bags. Also the tote that, here's the wine thingy, and I know Jack and Ryan showed this too, but I love this. It's great quality. And the bag that the swag was in was great. I thought that swag was good.
Oh, yes,
the water bottle, we ended up filling it up with tea and water the whole time.
So we weren't
good stickers, like we were fighting over, do you really want those stickers?
I love the fact that they are, Poshmark, they are following in trend with how much reselling is helping with sustainability and landfills. And then they put compostable poly mailers in the swag bag, which was genius.
And natural kind of gum with compostable materials, and
just really paying attention to what the resellers are talking about and following after kind of their mission and model.
And I did, and this is because I'm old school, but I did like the paper booklet of the conference, of the days and what was going on. I know they had an app as well for all of the millennials and the younger kids, but I liked the booklet.
I liked the booklet as well. My favorite part of the booklet was the table, so that you could see the breakout sessions.
And where to go.
Because if you're just looking at it in the app, it's just a long list, but if you notice in the table, you could actually do process of elimination on which one was going to be a repeat, so you didn't miss one. You wouldn't be able to compare that with that. However, I tried the app. I know you didn't, but I added sessions I wanted to go to on the app, and it sent push notifications. So it would say 10 minutes till you need to be in room XXX.
I didn't know that.
So I never opened the app, but I got the push notification so I could keep us on track, which was nice. My one other piece of feedback is a positive one. So Posh did little pop-up areas for their markets to promote the new markets in the app. So they had Kicks, luxury, home, athletic, not
workout, athleisure.
something. I don't know what the market's called.
Something.
But they could have been selling some of the stuff out of there. So
like they had a whole thing at the athletic one of Poshmark tanks, but they weren't for sale.
Yeah, like good ones that weren't also at the little pop-up where you could truly buy them. And so I told the girl there, I'm like trying to shop and take it off. She was like, no, that's not for sale. And I'm like, oh, but you could just put Square on your phone and I could buy it, and then you could have a box behind the pop-up booth and just keep replenishing them. She was like, oh yeah. So I just want to make sure.
It was the first time they did that, so I think they
want to make sure it's not bad feedback.
But
it's
hey,
idea
we'll buy stuff.
We can't find those.
And the line
online
to buy the Posh stuff, what did they call it? Fixings, Posh fixings, was so long that people wanted to go there on the first day, but they were missing sessions. So maybe if they had more of the fixings spread out into different market, I don't know if that would even work, but
something that worked
different
inbound was
different areas.
So the Posh Fictions was kind of set up like a concert merch area where you have to kind of go shop everything and tell one person what you wanted. So the decision-making point and the point of sale is what was slowing it down. At inbound, they had those cool big like IKEA little cube shelves and had everything out, and then they set up a big square at a big long table and with multiple checkout stands so you could shop it. You couldn't leave the rope area until you checked out.
Or what if they had it in the app, Ash? I don't know if this works. I'm just creating an idea, but here's all the fixins in the app. You literally build your cart, check out, and then go pick it up. Like, I don't know.
Some developer out there in space is getting mad at you for coming up with that idea.
Because now their CEO is going, go do that.
Go
do that.
Go do it.
That
would work. That would work.
I loved the backdrops for photography. You probably have seen a bazillion of them.
Yeah.
The best backdrop ended up, it wasn't even a Posh one at all. The wall that everybody's probably seen. It's the very colorful, looks like a Mexican flag background, was down the street on just a concrete wall, and everybody loved that. And I think we found it first.
We did, but we didn't take the picture.
I know.
We got there
at 9 o'clock in the morning on Thursday, and we walked over to a brunch place and saw that and said, take some pictures. And
you said, I want that for my bedroom because you're doing
I want that as, my bedroom's hacienda. I want that as my headboard. My headboard. Anyway, the backdrops were cool.
Very cool.
Another piece that I think,
the stage was awesome.
Oh, the stage was awesome. You could see, you could hear. The way they had the table set up was great. Even getting in line for food, there was tons of the same buffet, so you didn't have to wait forever. One of the things, though, that we were talking about, all of us, Tori, me, Bill, when we all went to tell the story. So there was this studio set up to where they asked people to come and tell their Posh story. And I guess the first day they didn't get as many people, but I literally had an email from somebody that said, hey, would you like to come and tell your story? Well, I'm at a conference running from thing to thing to thing to thing. I'm not looking at my email, but by the time I finally did, it was the evening of the first day. And I responded and said, hey, I would love to, let me know what to do. And she sent back and said, well, a lot of our spots are full at this time frame, because I was speaking that afternoon, so I wasn't able to go at a certain time. And she said, but stop by and we'll fit you in. So we stopped by And literally, there were a good 4 to 5 Poshmark people in there. Nobody spoke to us, looked at us, said anything. So we walked in, we stood in line.
Had a velvet rope, we filled out
There was this
forms.
velvet rope where you stood in line, and literally when they were done filming with the person that we were watching when we first walked in, they turned their backs to us and were having a conversation. Like they didn't want to tell us, and I know this is uncomfortable, but they didn't want to tell us, hey, all our slots are full, we don't have time for you. But you've got to be able to do that if you're running a conference. Hey, I'm sorry, all our spots are full. We're about to have somebody else come in because somebody else came in, dapper guy. And I get that. I get that. You don't have time for us. Tell us. Instead, we stood there feeling really stupid, unwelcome.
Amanda did talk to us, but she wasn't running the booth. She
came and talked to us at the very end. We'd already been there almost 30 minutes.
True. But it was like, you know that they have time slots, but the signage doesn't say that they were filling time slots. We only knew about the time slots because of the email. It was more about the fact that there's
and the person that emailed me was standing at the camera. So she obviously knew who we were, but was maybe nervous to come and say something. And Amanda did a great job. She did her job, and we're like, yes, we know. Somebody had emailed us and told us to stop by and they'd fit us in. But anyway, we left. We left, and we were all pretty,
it just felt like we weren't human.
We just felt like we weren't as important as I don't know. You just have to talk to your people.
It was just being addressed. Like, do we wait? Do we not? And it says shush, so you don't. I mean, I would have said something immediately, just like, yo, should I wait or not?
Some of the people,
but it says shush, don't interrupt.
Some of the people working the conference were very good at talking to the people, setting expectations, providing feedback and all of that, because you got to be able to do that really well, because these are your customers, and still make them feel important and still make them feel great.
Yeah, it's just thinking about training everyone who's working at what station. Are they prepared to answer any question on the fly?
FAQs for them, like having, I don't know what they do behind the scenes, but we did many pre-conference training sessions. Yeah, we left there a little bit. And, Tori and Bill were there too. And I think Tori talked about this a little bit. We were just like, forget it, let's go. And left with kind of a sour taste. We could have easily have been told, hey, all the spots are full. We really wanted to get you in. We know that you're speaking and don't have time. Thank you so much for stopping by. And I would have left with a whole lot different of a feeling.
No big deal.
No big deal. Got it. We're good. But we wasted 30 minutes standing there. And anyway, I'm rambling on and on. Anything else you have?
No, that was it.
Yeah, that was it. So we've got lots of pictures, lots of footage. I've got footage of the different sessions. Some of them are harder to hear, like in the video editing software. I pumped up the volume as much as I could, but it was because, I'm filming with my phone, my camera died, and so I've tried. You can hear some of them are better than others, but the different breakout sessions we went to, we've got all of that, and then the party at the end.
But people have asked us in our closet, but Poshmark did put all the main stage content out there in different video chunks. So go to their channel on YouTube, and you can see a lot of the main stage footage.
And I heard people talking about the fact that they bought tickets to the event and Poshmark live streamed it out to people who didn't. And I don't have anything, I don't feel anything bad about that, because the event is more about the experience. You're getting a whole cool experience, and you are networking, and you are building relationships, and somebody sitting at home watching it on an iPad or a phone, they're not getting that. So the fact that they're listening to something for free, doesn't really bother me, at least with this year's content. If it's if next year they put a lot of great learning components into the content and it's free, might be a different story. But I did hear somebody saying that they were a part of some other group, and when they were feeding out things like that, you had to pay like $25 to watch that session if it was really informative. So maybe they can do that, I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you
this
can
year
walk
I
and
didn't
do a
care
virtual,
because it was, they weren't, you know, they're not getting
well,
the
that's
cool
the
thing out
you
of
can
it.
do virtual tickets. It's cheaper because you're not eating.
Traveling.
You're not sitting in a seat that they paid for, so it's different. But also, I think something important to remember is the conference won't grow if other people don't get to see if it's worth their time. And so those folks maybe watching the video this year might attend next year. And if more PFFs are there, and that was the biggest value we got out of it, then the better for all of us, right?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I would go again for the same price, even if the content didn't get any better, because of the experience, the relationship building and all of that. I might not go to sessions. You know, I definitely think about hosting a party, you know, or something like that. I would want to go to more of the parties and pay extra for different things, but I would go again. So if you're watching this and you're hearing people's feedback and you think that it's not worth it, reconsider that.
Yeah, it's worth it. We're just hoping that this is kind of an addition to our survey.
Yeah. So
because we all want the same thing. We all just want this to continue to grow and be something versus fizzle out, especially if we're trying to make a living off of it, right?
So, we love the community. We love what the company is doing. You know, when the CEO opening statement, he talked about where fashion is going and how fast fashion is dying, and how, you know, Poshmark is definitely the wave of the future. It's already here, really, and what's to come. You know, and the sky's the limit, really. So. Really excited about who we are, what we're a part of, the community, Poshmark, etc. We just want more, and that's a good thing.
Was worth it to me just to know what's coming out.
Yeah, I love all the ideas that are coming out, and people have different thoughts on that too. But anyway, so watch some of our footage. The pictures I'm going to kind of intertwine throughout this video, but here's some of the videos, and we hope you enjoy it. And if you have any thoughts or questions, let us know. And again, we'll link down below to a lot of the other Poshmark feedback sessions, because I've gotten something out of every single one of them. So
and when she says we, she means her, because I don't video edit, so just giving her kudos, because she always tries to give me kudos for things I don't do.
That's why I'm not as fast on getting videos out on YouTube, because it's a ton of work and I got a lot to balance. But anyway, so thanks so much for joining us, and we'll see you on the next video.
Come to Poshfest, it's fun.
It is, it's a blast.
Bye.
Bye. Good morning from Poshfest. Everybody's getting breakfast and sitting down, getting ready. The pop-ups are outside. I'm about to go look at them. We got some cool stuff in the swag bags. There's the swag bags. Ashton's looked through them already. But this is it. My camera battery died, so it's charging over there. Super cool. So good morning.
Can I have everyone who's attended the very first Poshfest stand up? But they pioneered in terms of what Poshfest should be about. It's been getting better every year, and I think this is an incredible Poshfest. If you just look around, there's 1,600 of you in this room. That is, in 7 years, Poshfest has grown almost 14-fold, 14 times. That many people have come here to travel from across the country, share their passion, grow with each other, come with each other. More importantly, if you write it on a piece of paper, it'll actually manifest in its growth. But the second thing you can do is, if you meet a stranger, first of all, don't be shy. Everyone feels strange inside. Make sure that you connect with them and ask them how can you help them grow. So it isn't just about your growth, it is also about supporting everyone else's growth today. And for the
profit and loss statement, and I applied it to the projected income statements, and I was like, okay, if I want to profit this much, this is how much I need to gross, and this is how much I need to spend in inventory. And so then I took a big calendar and mounted it on my wall, and at the end of every day I tracked down how much I sold, how much I spent on inventory, and I color coded those based on how well I met those goals for the day. And so
yeah, I think Chaitan outlined pretty well one source of the feedback we get, which is just all the ideas that we get from the community. It's here. I already have a notepad that's starting to fill up. Hackathon, so a lot of you answered the survey. Throughout the year, you're sending in contacts to our support center in terms of ideas. Just constant social media and other, but we get direct ideas. But there's another one area which I think some of you might not be aware is we also observe the behavior of this group. So a lot of our best, I think, innovations have really come from modeling what we're seeing you already do. Some great old examples, bundles. I don't know how many people here maybe sold back in 2013, 2014. You used to have to create a bundle, and you create a new listing. And so, really what that feature is all about is making that easier. Offers, I think Manish mentioned in his, at the start of this today, that with offers, oftentimes you would have to publicly change the price and then respond in comments and say, hey, I lowered the price. Well, guess what? Everybody else sees you lowered the price and the buyer goes away. So we created the offer feature, which is binding. So a lot of ideas are just as we see the behavior that you're doing, we're going to try and make it better, but really deliver, I think, what you're already doing. And this is a lot of the category expansion we've done. We see first when we launched men on Poshmark in 2016. I think there was something like 400,000 or 500,000 listings of men's items already. So we're following the lead. So another area is just the behavior you're doing. I think is phenomenal feedback for us. And then lastly is just like Chaitan said. When we release a feature, we're really trying to get a lot of feedback. We do it first through what we call A/B testing. We look at we release it on one set of users and we compare that to the other users and say, is this working as intended? But then we're also, through support, a lot of it coming through support, our community team, we're getting a lot of direct feedback. We're getting direct feedback on Facebook, Twitter, on the features, and allows us to iterate again. But really valuable. Please, I encourage all of you to, we do really appreciate that feedback. So please, give it back to us. And then I think the last part was, how do we make a decision or prioritize?
Yeah, how do you decide what features to incorporate?
I'd say there's no science to this. It's always an active debate. It's Yogesh and Chaitan take part. Our engineers take part. What we're really looking at is kind of a balance of how much value it will add, to all of you in your businesses versus how much investment, how much scope there is from an engineering perspective. And then one of the things we look at a lot is, a really important thing of our app is about the simplicity. We want the experience for you to be as simple as possible, in particular the commerce experience. The buying, selling, listing aspect of it. And so we also measure the amount of complexity it adds. So there's probably a lot of things we could do that would potentially add value, but they add a lot of complexity. And so we're always kind of balancing that in the simplicity, which is really cool.
Great.
Wow, guys, what a great day. It is wrap up of day one, and I am just really blown away at the people. The people are unbelievably amazing. We made so many new friends today. We strengthened old friends, relationships. We learned a lot. There were some great breakout sessions. We've got lots of notes and things to share when we get back, but I just wanted to say it was a great day. Before we all kind of head out to go have drinks and dinner and things like that, I wanted to give my final follow-up. So have a great night, and we will be back in the morning for more Poshfest. Stay tuned. Ash.
Hi.
Morning of day 2. I can't walk and not make this jiggly though. It's a hotel. Down here was where the party was, or the pre-party that you had to sign up for and pay for the night before Posh started.
Prom.
Yeah, it kind of looked like prom. It was really well decorated and it was really cute. And
No, like the prom balloons.
oh yeah, they had big Poshfest balloons that really cool. Anyway, we're going to day 2. Here's the hotel lobby. Everybody's been gathering over there for drinks. We're going out. There's a ton of construction out here, but just wanted to show everybody. You go up that escalator to get to the party. And we're off.
So, everyone has a story. Whether it be your first Posh tale, sharing Posh love to one another, or sharing a Posh tip. We know that we all want to have deeper connections with one another. Everyone is unique, and together we are Poshmark. Today, we are introducing Posh Stories. We built something that really brings your content to real life.
Wait a minute, Samantha, are you talking about video?
This guy's funny. I like him.
Are you gonna show us, please?
Yeah, just give me 1 second. Okay, are you guys ready for this? I'm going to show you how to create a Posh story. So, I want to show off my Posh style. These are preset hashtags that we created, and I'm going to show my Posh style. I'm going to show a boomerang. And show how I created. You know, our Sophie style right there. It was. You can personalize this content by adding text. We're going to have different fonts available for you to show your creativity off. You know, also type callback using the story. Want to show him some love too. I can also tag this cool blazer he's wearing.
Wow. Oh, that's awesome.
Sorry. So this really allows you to express yourself. Be creative. Give the world a window to your life. I'm going to show you how you consume Posh stories. So right here, it's the boomerang I just created, the story. You can shop it right there, you can like it, you can add to bundle, you can share it right there. So I'm ready to sell my
cafeteria, wherever you are.
You can shop in the closet right there, check out her listings. You tag the brand Adidas, so you can also explore Adidas items. And of course, since you bought that item, she tagged it, but it's sold already. So, what do you guys think?
Stay tuned.
The boomerang that I just tagged contact me. It'll show up in his story stream as well.
Oh my God, we just heard about all the new features to the app. It's going to be so exciting. We're going to get an inventory report. We're going to have some private listings. So more to
Heading to our first session of the morning. The group split up. Half of them went to going full time, and half of us are going to Instagram, building strategies and things like that on Instagram. So this is set up really well. Like the main stage is on the 3rd floor. Lots of the extras, like the swag booths and everything that's through there, and to the right, it's a big open area. And then on the 1st floor is all the breakout sessions, so it's easy to go up and down. The venue's been great, the food's been good. It's just been a great experience. There's Tori, there's Brittany, and they just yelled at Jacket Lady to stop, and we got a picture. She's so cute. She's like leather_sequence.
Could be a real tool for you both to drive traffic to your Poshmark business.
I think for me it was when I first created a different Instagram account just for reselling, and I was just showing a haul. I was so new, I was like shaking, like I did like 5 retakes, and I was just showing some items that I had picked out, and someone sent me a direct message and was like, so are you gonna post that? I'm really interested. I was like, I actually want to buy this. Okay, and so we went forward from there. So I think that moment of like, okay, somebody actually is interested in purchasing this through my Instagram views, and that's when I think it clicked that, okay, people on here are not just, following me for like tips and tricks, but they may actually be my potential future customers, and that's when I realized that it could be something more.
Yeah, I'm the same. I created a separate reselling Instagram account just purely because I saw so many other people doing it and I was following what they were doing, so I created one for myself, and I was just posting on it here and there, like not too much. And then I remember one day I came back from sourcing and I'd found this like beautiful For Love and Lemons like floral maxi dress, and I was really, really excited about it. I brought it home and I showed it to my husband. I don't know why I thought this was a good idea, but I was like, oh my god, like look what I found, and he was kind of like, oh cool, anyway, and then just like totally ignored me. And basically I then was like, okay, no, I'm going to post this, and I posted it on my Instagram story, and I got tons of messages from people being like, oh my goodness, I can't believe you found that, and just the excitement that I found from sharing what I was doing from other people out there really just, propelled me to continue to do that.
Awesome. So when you first started, you did a post, or did you do IG stories? There's so many features on Instagram now. How do you navigate through all of the changing features, and which ones do you use most?
That's a tough one. Depends on the day and if I'm feeling like I want to show my face or not. But I think I try to post once a day, and when to post is very, very tricky. I mean, I think we'll go into depth in that. But I like to post at least once a day, and I do use my stories more because I don't want to blow up everyone's feed with my Instagram posts. I'll just send it up to my stories. And if it's ever a day where I don't want to sit in front of the camera, or I just maybe feel like I'm having a bad hair day or something, or don't feel like talking, I'll just type it. But I'm still active and I'm still posting. And if there's ever something that I really, want feedback on, I'll do a poll just to like increase engagement a little bit. And the algorithm is always changing on Instagram, so it's always just trial and error and see what works best for you. And if it doesn't work, just try something else and just don't let it discourage you.
Yeah, so I'm posting on my feed, like I'm trying to post every day, but I don't always have the time to post every day. But I'm very active on my stories too, and I really like that Instagram has so many features within stories. So I'm utilising the polls and the questions and all of these different things to drive engagement and find out what my audience actually wants to see and what they want to listen to. So yeah, I'm using it.
Opened is not opened it and had like one eye open and one eye closed. Actually kind of try to play around with the data, maybe looked at some of your numbers in the last year. Okay, so about half of us. All right, my last question is, who's done that in the last month? So since September 1st to today. Okay, so a little bit less hands. So maybe by the end of this presentation, when you guys leave today, everyone's gonna have opened it. So I like to believe that the reason that maybe we haven't opened it in the last month is maybe Poshmark kept it a secret and we can't find it. So let's figure out where it is. So where to find the My Sales Report? You can do so on the app or on desktop version. So through the app, you're gonna go to your personal page in the bottom right corner. You'll click My Seller Tools, and then you'll click My Sales Report. So 3 easy clicks, and then you can select the date range, so last full year. You can do year to date, so from January till October, or you can custom range it. Maybe I just want to look at my sales in the last 3 months.
All of our seller stylists and shoppers to use this feature. So you may be wondering why we decided to build Posh Stories. The reasons are simple. We want to provide you and all of our other Poshers on the platform a tool to self-express and humanize your content. That way you can elevate your closet and represent your brand in a much more engaging way. And that way it'll further deepen your social connection with other seller stylists and other Poshers on the platform as well, which should lead to a better experience, a more engaging medium for our shoppers to discover new products and people. And of course, we hope that this will drive up sales overall and for each and every one of you, and also just more Posh love on the platform. Now let's dive right into the features. So to create a Posh story, you can tap for a photo, and you can also hold to record up to 15 seconds of video. You can also upload content from your photo gallery. We know a lot of you take content with your native camera app, and also some of you may even take it into a third-party editing tool. We'll be able to let you guys upload that. You can also tag a Posh story with a hashtag with a preset list at launch. We'll have that initial set at launch, and we'll soon have a fast follow-on with more themes and more hashtags based on different seasons and themes that we'll have. The idea behind hashtags is that it's a great way to aggregate all the Posh stories for all the shoppers and Poshers on our platform. A great way to consume the content. In terms of customization of Posh stories, we plan to provide the ability to add text. So you'll also be able to style the text as well, change the alignment, and change the font. There'll also be a color palette for you guys to customize the color of the text as well as the text box based on the style you chose. And you'll also have the ability to resize, rotate, and move the text as well. So it brings more personality to all of your Posh stories. We'll also have the ability to tag other Poshers as well. That's a great way for you guys to give love, shout out to other Poshers, as well as possibly directing specific items to your potential buyers out there as well. We think this is a great way for you guys to interact with others and just use it creatively. You'll also be able to tag listings. There'll be a quick access to your own listings listings from your shares and listings that you've purchased. These allow you to create Posh stories used for just-ins, sales, Posh finds, and love notes. We believe this feature is an essential way for you and the rest of our Poshers to make sales via Posh stories, and it's a great differentiator that sets video on our platform apart from other social media platforms that have video. Last but not least, you'll be able to tag brands as well. So for those of you who just want to showcase your style, you don't have to have a listing. You can tag the brands that, for your outfit of the day or whatnot, and you can still share it, bring more personality into your closet.
And found Posh Mark, which was a combination of both posh market, which is a stylish market, but also posh mark of distinction. And that's what Jerry started, the Green Posh Market.
So, Chapin, something that, I mean, sticking with the theme of talking about our stories in the early days, right? I remember an instance where, you know, a community member was having an issue with an app, and I dragged Chapin with me because we did troubleshooting live in person, because that's how you do it in the early days in a coffee shop. So Chapin, can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. I think the first time this happened was we drove 60 miles, and I met this person at a coffee shop up in Hong Kong. And I just had the license on my computer and never changed that ratio. And we've come a long way since then. You know, we saw the fall from there.
Sienna Thread.
She was very helpful for us. And in the early days, each person contributed to helping us make that better. We evolved to have more than, we developed our team from 1 to 2 people on the app side to have 2 people look at it. That was the first step. We then sort of used our community team to get phone feedback, and we were able to troubleshoot on the phone. That was the next step. But at the scale in the last 2 or 3 years, it's really been about getting data. Data either comes from the app through crash logs, or it comes through the backend. And for the last couple of years, we actually look at how features are being used on a day-to-day basis. And when we see a change in those patterns, is how we detect issues in the app. So we've come a long way. But let me tell you something. Even today, we still have to do that, which is go to the community member, get their phone, plug it into the computer, and see what's going on. So it's something nothing has changed.
That's amazing. Yes, you're absolutely right. So much has changed.
This was back when we couldn't work anywhere like we can now. It's awesome. And I've been thinking about it a lot. What am I doing? I'm working for somebody else. I'm working my fingers to the bone for somebody else.
Unfortunately, I have to voice over for the party because there was music playing that's copyright issues on YouTube, but you can see this is where you walk in, and there's different areas of the Deuce, which you'll see in a little bit, but this is the outside, and it's set up for just maximum party fun. You can see the photo booth and the Airstream right when you walked in, and there were bars everywhere. Little individual acts like the girl with the glow hula hoop. Those were the 2 right there from Glitterwell. Back here is a girl who's doing a, eating fire routine. So this is all the experience when you walk in. So here's where you kind of walk in the back, and you can see Bill at 324 Fines, and Jessica, and who else is there? I don't think we know them. Getting a drink, and then they had just food, snacks set out in different spots. And when you walk in this barn over here, they're saying you're all accountable for your own face, which is a big inside joke for the whole time that we had with our selfies. So you're walking in over here. I'm talking about just how cool this place is. If you look around, there is, hold on, I'm just running my mouth. I'm just blown away because I did not expect this for the price. As we said earlier in the video, we got 4 drink tickets, and that's quite a bit, and they were just really great drinks. So if I'll quit rambling, you can see there were just different fun things out here. Were ping pong tables, and he's saying, hi y'all, hi y'all. Bill could do it so good. So we obviously were having a great time. I wish you could hear the audio, but I do want to do that. So let's see. talking about the day, I think, wrapping everything up. And then you've got, I think coming up here is just a still of Bill's outfit because we thought it was so cool. He got that jacket on Posh. So in here is where you walk right into that little area right where we were standing just now, and you've got places to sit, food set up on different areas. See, we were outside. There's Tori at GirlyGrrlStyle talking to Jenna from Empty Hanger. And there's Erin, her new, Tori's new PFF from Spokane. And they're talking to her as well, Erin's husband. And so it was really cool seeing some of these people that you see on YouTube all the time because it's like, you know, they're famous. Just different little vignettes all through the place. So there's Jenna again. And it sucks that you can't hear what I'm saying because it's a little bit boring without it. But you walk through here, you can see that's Fashion Without Trashin'. That's Jade on the left. And this is like right off of the dance floor. So this is before, right when everybody got there. People hadn't really started dancing yet. A huge bar, big dance floor. Then you walked through here and it was a whole other area. So it just kept going and going. And each area had kind of a little theme. You could see they had hula hoops that glowed that you could grab and have fun with. And the band played on the right in the boxing ring, but more bars, more dance floors, more lights, more fun. That's where the band played. And you could get a ticket for a +1 here for $50, which just was a lot of fun. Ash, and I think then that's back looking over to one of the dance floors. There was a saxophone guy that was walking around playing a saxophone. I don't know if I have footage of him, but it was just really cool. So the vibe in here was awesome. It was just peppy and positive and just everybody was having just a really, really great time. So this was what the event was like. So if you're wondering what it was all about, this is pretty much it. Lots of dancing, lots of fun, and was definitely worth it. I was really surprised we paid $250 for this whole weekend. What a fun time. Loved it. Don't miss it next year. Good morning.
Morning.
It's early.
Last day was yesterday, and we are off to the airport.
It's like, what, 6:30? 6:30 in the morning.
20.
We have a 9 o'clock flight, so we're excited to get home, but we had a really great time, and we can't wait to share it with everybody, so thanks for sharing it with us.
Yes, thank you. Let us know if there's anything that you want to see as a recap
Bye.
that we don't cover. Bye.